Stop building Ramsay for raw damage. You're throwing away the strongest part of his kit. Ramsay doesn't win because he hits harder. He wins because he never stops firing. The wrong weapon mods turn him into an overheated target. The right weapon mods keep him in the yellow heat zone, where Ramsay becomes an absolute monster. Let's build him the right way. Before we jump into the mods, if you haven't watched my complete Ramsay guide yet, click the card on your screen right now. I cover his abilities, heat management, gameplay, tips, tricks, and advanced mechanics. Watch that first, then come back here, because these weapon mods will make a lot more sense. Now, let's get into the build. Let's start with a muzzle. There are 3 upper tier options, followed by 2 final upgrades. Best upper pick, Cry Verge. Cry Verge is my recommendation. It increases armor and drone damage, while only reducing aim fire range. Since Ramsay is a close range brawler, that range penalty barely affects him. The extra armor and drone damage helps shred tanks, destroy enemy drones faster, and provides consistent value in almost every match. Alternative, Merklet. Merklet gives armor penetration, making it much more effective against heavily armored heroes. The trade-off is reduced armor and drone damage. If your matches are filled with tanks, this is a strong alternative. Otherwise, Cry Verge remains a better all-around choice. Another alternative, Coral. Coral focuses on health damage, making it more effective against lightly armored heroes. However, it increases fire spread while moving. Since Ramsay spends most fights moving while firing, that accuracy penalty becomes much more noticeable. It's still a usable option, but I'd rank it behind Merklet. Now for the final unlock. Best final pick, Spindelark. Spindelark is my top recommendation. It increases both health damage and armor and drone damage. The trade-off is less aim fire range and more fire spread while moving. Neither drawback hurts Ramsay very much, because almost every fight happens at close range. The extra damage against every type of target makes this the strongest all-around final muzzle. Alternative, Hexane. Hexane trades armor and drone damage for armor penetration, but you also suffer more fire spread while moving. Choose Hexane if you're constantly fighting tanks. Otherwise, Spindelark remains a stronger general-purpose choice. Next, the sights. Best upper pick, Onyx. Onyx is my recommendation. It increases armor and drone damage, making Ramsay much stronger against heavily armored enemies and enemy drones. Its drawback is increased reload time, which doesn't appear to affect Ramsay's force cooling. That means you're gaining extra offensive power, with virtually no meaningful downside. Overall, it's the strongest and most reliable upper sight for Ramsay. Alternative, Glow Mod. Glow Mod is another excellent option. It increases fire rate, helping Ramsay reach the yellow heat zone much faster. The trade-off is increased fire spread while moving, and faster heat buildup. If you can't manage your heat, you'll overheat much sooner. If you're confident controlling Ramsay's heat, Glow Mod is an excellent aggressive choice. Another alternative, Cankwood. Cankwood reduces fire spread while moving, making Ramsay's sustained fire much more consistent while strafing. Its downside is reduced aim fire range, which barely affects a close-range hero like Ramsay. If you prefer reliable accuracy over extra aggression, Cankwood is an excellent alternative. Final sight. Best final pick, Drunel. Drunel combines everything Ramsay wants in a sight. More fire rate, more armor and drone damage. The reload time penalty doesn't appear to affect Ramsay's force cooling, and the extra movement spread is a small price to pay for this much offensive power. This is the strongest final sight. Alternative, Scintillock. Scintillock also increases armor and drone damage, but instead of fire rate, it reduces fire spread while moving, making Ramsay much more accurate. If you prefer cleaner tracking over maximum aggression, this is a great alternative. Now let's move to the springs. Best upper pick, Iron. Iron is my recommendation. It increases armor penetration, letting Ramsay tear through heavily armored enemies much more effectively. Its only drawback is reduced magazine size, which doesn't affect Ramsay at all, because he has unlimited ammo. That means you're getting a pure offensive upgrade with virtually no downside. Alternative, Ashforge. Ashforge is another solid option. It reduces weapon fire spread, making Ramsay's sustained fire much easier to control. It also lowers fire rate, slowing heat buildup, and giving you more time in the yellow heat zone. If you value heat control over maximum aggression, Ashforge is an excellent alternative. Another alternative, Churnspire. Finally, there's Churnspire. Based on current community testing, reload time doesn't appear to affect Ramsay's force cooling. That means you're sacrificing firing range for a stat that provides little to no value. That's why I place it last. Final spring. Best final pick, Coordinator. Coordinator is my recommendation. It reduces fire spread, adds armor penetration, and the magazine size penalty is completely irrelevant because Ramsay never reloads. It does reduce your fire rate slightly, but that also slows heat buildup, helping you stay in Ramsay's powerful yellow heat zone longer. Overall, this is the strongest and most consistent final spring. Alternative, Vocline. Vocline is still a decent alternative. It also gives armor penetration. However, its main bonus is reduced reload time, which doesn't appear to affect Ramsay's force cooling. That means one of its biggest stats is essentially wasted. It also reduces your firing range, which is why I'd recommend Coordinator instead. Finally, the grips. Best upper pick, Fox. Fox is my recommendation. It increases fire rate while reducing firing range. The small range loss isn't important. The extra fire rate helps Ramsay reach the yellow heat zone sooner, giving him stronger sustained pressure. Alternative, Vine. Vine reduces fire spread, making Ramsay's machine gun much easier to control. The magazine size penalty doesn't affect Ramsay because he has unlimited ammo. If you prefer consistent tracking over extra fire rate, Vine is an excellent alternative. Another alternative, Brassmay. Brassmay increases firing range, letting Ramsay start applying pressure from slightly farther away. In return, you lose some fire rate, meaning you'll reach the yellow heat zone more slowly. If you prefer extra reach over maximum aggression, this is a solid alternative. Final grip. Best final pick, Nemesis. Nemesis is the best grip. It increases fire rate while also reducing fire spread. The magazine size penalty doesn't affect Ramsay, and the firing range reduction is barely noticeable. More fire rate, better accuracy, more pressure, exactly what Ramsay wants. Alternative, Moss. Moss reduces fire spread while increasing firing range. The downside is lower fire rate. If you want smoother tracking and a little more reach, Moss is a strong defensive alternative. For pure pressure though, Nemesis remains a winner. Final build. Here's the build I recommend. Muzzle, Spindle Arc, Sight, Drunel, Spring, Coordinator, Grip, Nemesis. This setup gives Ramsay more sustained damage, better accuracy, stronger armor penetration, faster pressure, and almost no wasted stats. Everything works together to keep Ramsay in control, maintain constant pressure, and dominate every fight. And that's exactly why every single mod in this build has a purpose. No wasted stats, no gimmicks, just maximum value for Ramsay. Remember, Ramsay isn't built to burst enemies instantly. He's built to overwhelm them. Keep your heat under control, stay in the yellow heat zone, never stop applying pressure, and let your weapon do the rest. If this guide helped you, please hit the like button. Finding the best weapon mods for a single hero isn't guesswork. It took me more than 11 hours, researching Ramsay's mechanics, comparing every possible mod combination, cross-checking community findings, and digging into how each stat actually interacts with his kit, just to confidently recommend these builds. So if you appreciate that level of detail, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. It genuinely motivates me to keep making hero-specific guides like this for every single hero. I'll see you in the next one. Last stand isn't luck, it's control.